I don't know what I just watched. I don't watch that many Genshin live streams, but usually when I tune into them, I'm not that disappointed. But whatever came out today has just channeled my inner Saint Hontes, and I need to talk about it. Hello there, Flip here, and today we're going to be going over the Luna 7 live stream, or version 6.6 if you're uncultured, and I'm just going to be ranting about a lot of things in the live stream that didn't really make sense to me. But before we do that, as always, if at any points during the video you were entertained or informed, make sure to drop a like and even consider subscribing, as I talk on various topics regarding Genshin's meta and I'll try to keep you updated. Shout out to my lovely channel members, I really appreciate your support, it means the world to me, and I hope you guys are having a better day than me. And without further ado, let's just get into it. In which, let's just rip the band-aid off. Lohen might not be a standard banner unit. I went back to check with Mizuki, but yes, usually when they announce the character's banner, they also go ahead and say that they're going to be added to the standard roster afterwards, but they didn't do that in this case, which means they're either holding off the information for later, which could be their new strategy to like get people to pull for a character and then screw them over later, which I wouldn't really be surprised by, or via Occam's razor, the most likely choice is that he just isn't standard and is going to be a limited character. And this is bad, like this is really bad. Even if we want to discount the meta reasons, this is a patch with 60 total pulls. Nicole is in the first half, who is one of the most anticipated characters. Durin is getting a rerun, and Sandrone and the entire Sneznaya cast are right around the corner. In what universe are people going to be spending their pulls on Lohen? And I'm not saying this as means to demean him, because Lohen is one of my favorite characters, and I was so excited to have him, on top of his kit and animations actually being amazing. It's just that he's being sandwiched between some of the most hyped up characters. He's rerunning alongside Mavuika too, I didn't even mention, oh my god. Lohen is a great character, but in terms of just actual attention, he's by far the least compelling character in his version, on top of being right before some of the biggest updates the game is about to see. And in a patch with 60 pulls, I just don't think he's going to be a character that people can very reasonably pull for. And that's why I thought him being standard would be a good thing, as there is no initial pressure to pull for him. You could get him passively in subsequent patches, and you have something to look forward in September, as you can just get him for free on the standard selector. And it also means if you wanted to pull for Nicole or Durin, you're getting his best supports alongside him. And you could also try and just go for Lohen's weapon instead of Lohen himself, which is cheaper to pull for, and you have better rolls of getting, and you'll be able to give him all his things when you get him for free. And I know there's also some crackheads like Arnold that just save up a bunch of standard pulls, so they can try and snipe any future standard characters. So all things considered, I feel like making him standard is just the logical choice. And it made sense within his meta performance as well, because one of the biggest signs that a 5-star unit is going to be a standard character is if their constellations suck ass. Even if leakers didn't say it, Lohen C1 and C2 are 10% damage increases respectively. Even on the lower end, most characters released in Nordcry, Natlin, and even Fontaine have C1s that on the lower end are 20% increases, and on the higher end 30% increases, with C2s that are also 20 to 30% increases. Even Varka, who people were calling horrible, one of the reasons why no theory crafters really thought he was going to be standard is just because his early vertical is so good, and that is not at all the same case with Lohen. And even with this C0 performance, yes, it is good, but that rides off the back of you having 3 other limited 5-star characters. Durin and Nicole are just staples, and it's very unlikely you're going to have pulls for all 3 of them if you've been keeping up with the meta. And then you also need something like a Sitlali or an Emily to really complete your teams. Lohen's freeze team was something I was really excited for. As Mona is a free character, I thought Lohen would be a free character too. So the only 2 limiteds you'd have to pull for are Furina and Escoffier, and Furina is the most owned character in the game, so you most likely wouldn't be going out of your way to make a good team for him in this case. But now that you have to pull for Lohen, you can just get Skirk, who is 30% better than him, rather than being able to have Lohen for free alongside his signature. So right now his teams are just way too expensive for the amount of power you get from them. If you were going to run a Nicole and Durin team, you can just get Varka, who's better, and his best team now uses a 4-star, who even at C2, which you'll probably get by pulling for Nicole or Durin, is better than Lohen's premium teams. And if you wanted to spec a defreeze, you can just get Skirk, who's better, even with needing less 5-stars to be pulled on our teams. So his performance is quite underwhelming overwhelming compared to other characters that can use his supports, and it's very unlikely you'll even be able to get supports in the first place. And he's being released right before Sandrone, who's most likely going to be insane. And I've seen a lot of people saying things like, oh, but Lohen is Cryo and Snezhnaya is the Cryo region, so obviously he's going to be better in Snezhnaya. I am going to touch you by your prostate when I say this, but no, Hoyoverse is not designing Lohen for stellar reactions. They are just going to make and sell those new characters. Sandrone is literally a Cryo DPS being released in the patch after Lohen. Can we be for real? Yeah guys, they're totally designing Emily for Natlin teams because it's the region of Pyro and Emily's a burning character. They totally won't make her good for just one character that's releasing in the patch after her. And if someone says Hoyoverse is releasing Lohen like this to control power creep, I'm going to blow my brains out. If they wanted to control power creep, they wouldn't have released Columbina, who buffed the already top 5 DPSs by 30k DPS. If they cared about controlling power creep, they wouldn't have released Linnea to Zibai, who was already one of the best DPSs in the game. If Genshin cared about controlling power creep, why does the Gecko exist? If they care about controlling power creep, they are doing a horrible job. And no one is saying make Lohen broken. But why isn't he a standard banner character? Did Dawe get too erect seeing his burst animation and say, hey, let's make him limited? I don't get it. He would have been a perfect standard unit for where the game is at currently. The Stariel can give out Don Hong DPT, who is like the best sustain in the game, on top of them giving out multiple other characters for free who are limited. But God forbid Genshin gets a half-decent standard banner character. Holy shit. Anyways, that's enough about Lohen. That isn't even the only thing bad about this live stream. I don't know if a lot of people will care about this, but I do. Hoyoverse, where is the Skirk and Veressa artifact at Strongbox? Leakers got this from reading the game code that would be in this version, unlike Lohen, which you could argue was speculation. So like, where is it? I want to bring my Veressa and Skirk over the 10% margin. I have nothing else to Strongbox. When was the last time we even had a Strongbox update? We are even getting a new artifact set, in fact, and the Strongbox still hasn't been updated. Can we please stop dicking around and announce it? And if it's not in this version, why? Speaking of which, did they even show what the new artifact did? I think they just mentioned they exist and then just glossed over it completely. But we have space for Miliastra. Like, I know what the new artifacts do, I look at leaks, but why wasn't it included in the live stream? It just seems so random. Anyways, let's just wrap this up by talking about the events. You've probably watched my big Genshin defense video where I talk about the events, and I actually do like them. Even the main event that people considered filler when 5.4 happened, I still feel told very good stories, and I think events are a good way to keep a lot of the older characters relevant. On top of the fact that some of them do have fun mini games and or give out interesting rewards. So like, I'm not gonna slam the new event yet. I don't really know how it's going to play, and despite the fact that I'm not really that interested in the cast of characters besides my goats Chi-Chi and Yaya because they're adorable, I hope they can just knock out of the park with the event stories like they have been doing. Oh, but that that weapon skin reward is just the Melusine Claymore reskinned. I'm not really sure how I feel about weapon skins as they're being given out as flagship rewards over just making new weapons in general, which I'm not sure if I like or dislike because some event weapons are useful, but a lot of them are just ass. But at the same time, I don't really think any of the weapon skins have looked that good. And if they're just going to be reskins, then I'd rather just have the shitty weapons. The free Constellation event also seems to be getting an update, which they were really hyping that up, only for the extra rewards to be 20 Primogems and a transient resin. They couldn't even give us a permanent one, I guess. Whatever. Oh, also, events aside, what was up with the Dottore stealing Raiden's whole flow? Him using the Muso no Hitatachi has to be some form of cultural appropriation. Dottore is very problematic. I think we should cancel him. Experiments on children aside, I think it's really disrespectful how he appropriated Inazuman culture. Anyways, I think that's enough rambling for now. Version 6.6 or Luna 7 looks interesting. I think both the trailers trailers they showcased actually looked great. The SNES Naya teaser was cool. Just the content within the version, as well as the circumstances around Lohen and the amount of pulls we're getting this patch, all of those things combined didn't really leave the best taste in my mouth. And I hope the version is much better than what the live stream presented. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on version 6.6. If you have a different opinion to me or agree, as I would love to hear it and I respond to almost every single comment. Channel members, thank you so much for your continued support, and hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you to everyone else for watching the video, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.